Hi, this is Ming the injury guru. In my previous video, I made a video for a list of 10 things to do to keep your fascia and soft tissue healthy. But in this video, I want to list a bunch of specific supplements that you can use specifically to help the fascia, the joints, and the connective tissue in the human body. So here goes. The first vitamin that I like to use for joint health is vitamin C. It's a well-known vitamin, but vitamin C is needed to help the body produce more collagen, which we already know is a major structural protein in the body. So vitamin C is number one. Another one would be glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate. These two molecules are very similar. The only difference is the chondroitin sulfate is a longer chain of glucosamine molecules. And the glucosamine and chondroitin are actually the constituents of what you would find in joint tissues. And so it's very important that we have enough of glucosamine and chondroitin in your joint preparations if you decide to use them. Be mindful that these chondroitin and glucosamine is also made from shellfish, so if you are allergic, I would be careful and be aware of that fact. Another element that is necessary for joint healing and soft tissue repair is, believe it or not, manganese. Manganese is a trace mineral. You don't need much of it, but it is implicated in wound healing. Specifically in connective tissue healing. So with manganese, it helps your body repair. It's not well known, but it is essential. The other mineral that I recommend that people use, it's a macro mineral called magnesium. It's a very well known mineral that unfortunately here in America, at least 60% of all Americans are severely, not slightly, but severely deficient in magnesium. And that can cause a lot of problems because magnesium is responsible for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. But one of the most important ones is it keeps the body relaxed, and it keeps your muscles from going into spasm. And between the actions of calcium and magnesium, the magnesium is the molecule of relaxation, if you will. So magnesium is really important because if you're always going into spasm, your muscles will never feel right. So a good amount of magnesium is essential for soft tissue health. The other one would be collagen. We just talked about collagen a minute ago, and collagen is a primary structural protein that's found throughout the entire body, and it's a very well-known protein, and people can get collagen a number of ways. I personally drink bone broth almost every day, at least 5 days a week, and I drink about 10 ounces every day, and that gives me about 15 to 20 grams of collagen just from the broth. However, there are days that I decide that I would just use powdered collagen supplements from a company called Great Lakes. So I take 2 tablespoons once or twice a day to also get my collagen needs by way of supplementing. Another element that I would have you use is something called hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is seen in a lot of commercials where they put it in makeup, where it allows water to be drawn into the skin, so it puffs up the skin so the skin looks more youthful. But it also works the same way in joints in that it helps attract water into the joint, so it's hydrated properly, as well as giving it a shock absorption quality. So hyaluronic acid, very important for joints and ligaments, etc. Another thing I use is something called MSM, or methyl sulfonyl-methane. This is used in conjunction with the glucosamine and chondroitin. It offers a sulfate molecule that helps the body produce more of that glucosamine and chondroitin. So it can be used as a powder. I personally use a company called Jarrow, and Jarrow, I take half a teaspoon in the morning and half a teaspoon at night with a little bit of water. And that's only when I have joint pain. You don't have to use it all the time, but I do recommend a small amount because of the sulfur itself, which is also a mineral that is severely lacking in most American diets. So MSM is another one of those products. And finally, I also use proteolytic enzymes, or systemic enzymes. On an empty stomach, I usually take a few pills in the morning and a couple pills at night. The company that I particularly use at this point, I change them periodically just to see which companies work better, is a product called Fibrenza. And this Fibrenza does contain a very important proteolytic enzyme called serrapeptase. And serrapeptase is well known to help you break down scar tissue and adhesions. And that's the problem when we get older and when we get injuries. Scar tissue and adhesions tend to form in and around muscles and joints and makes it really tight and very uncomfortable. So using proteolytic enzymes on an empty stomach is essential for joint and soft tissue health. I urge you not to cherry pick and just pick one or two of this. It's like baking a cake. You might need, 10, 15, 20 ingredients. If you only if you needed 10 ingredients and you only chose 5 or 6 of them, you can still bake the cake, but the cake's not going to taste too good and you're not going to be happy with the results. So I urge you, if you decide to use supplementation, do it as a whole and don't cherry pick individual of these elements. To get the best results, you have to get a product that has all of them. I particularly like a product by Dr. Mauro Di Pasquale. It's called Joint Support. It has all of these elements in them, but you have to take the right dose. And the product actually looks like this. I actually do use this personally myself. And Dr. Mauro Di Pasquale is a friend of mine, and he's a medical doctor, and he was a world-class powerlifter, and he knows what he's talking about. I've been using that product for over 15 years, and it does work really, really well compared to most other products. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. And between the previous video when I talked about using a multivitamin with the colloidal minerals and the essential fatty acids, that's for general health of everything. But these specific supplements are for joint health specifically, and soft tissue and fascial health. So you really need to do both if you're having joint pains. So hopefully this video has been useful. Keep in mind that the video content is not intended for it to be a substitute for professional and medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So please seek out the advice of a trained medical professional that understands the use of supplements. Find a great naturopath or a medical doctor that understands these things. A complementary medical doctor can help you. Or if you find a medical professional that you trust, and do your own research. So on that note, try these supplements, and usually within 1 or 2 weeks, you will see dramatic changes in your joints and your soft tissue. On that note, keep your soft tissue healthy, and I'll catch you next time. Good luck.